I literally forgot Robyn was in this tell-all. And she had an actual tantrum in it. Talk about Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? At any rate, hi, I'm Cozy. I like to snark on Sister Wives here on YouTube. I also like to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only. These are not facts. They should not be taken as such. They are simply my opinions about public figures who put their life out on television for public viewing. Cool. We are going to do a short one real quick, just to kind of tie up any loose ends before we talk about how much the difference between Cody and David is huge in this particular episode. I'm meeting with my neurologist here very shortly, and so I just wanted to get this done to kind of quell those nerves. So let's kick this off. So Mary kicks it off by sharing she's met David a couple times, and she thinks he's great. Awesome. Thank you, Mary. She says she's really happy for Christine. She's really excited that she's found the person she wants to be with. And it is kind of a stark contrast to some of the things we've seen Mary say recently about Christine. And when I say recently, I mean, we're going back into seasons 16 and 17 as Christine was leaving. There were some comments that were made that were less than kind. And so it's really nice to actually see her go, oh, oops, that's probably not what I really wanted to say. And part of me wonders if maybe she regrets making some of those comments because now she's thinking about, oh, shoot, I don't have what Christine and Janelle have. I don't have a friend who lived this life and understands me as deeply as they understand each other. So do I think necessarily that they want to repair those relationships? Not 100% no. But do I think it's possible she's regretting some of her recent or her earlier behaviors? Yes. So Christine's been very clear about the tension that exists between her and Mary. But it's nice to see that even though they've been clear that there is tension in that relationship, Mary truly does seem to feel like she's happy for Christine. And so Suki asks Mary about finding her own soulmate, and Mary says she has hope, which is not a word I want to hear Mary use ever again, if I'm being honest. Sorry, Freckles is sitting over to the side being distracting. She's really sweet, though. So Suki asks Janelle about David, and Janelle cannot say enough good things. She lights up like a Christmas tree. She's so excited about it. She's like, he's great. The kids love him. I think he's great. And she says he's such a breath of fresh air. Which definitely makes sense because David seems to possess this like joy and confidence for life that we haven't seen from Cody in years. I mean, Cody's miserable attitude brings everything down. I can even think, if you're going to think far back as to when Cody's miserable, but attitudes started bringing things down, the Hawaii vacation, when he threw the temper tantrum about the pork and basically Logan had to be the dad and be like, then just don't eat it, grow up. Yeah. And so even as nervous as David seems on camera when he's introduced, he holds himself in this open and vibrant light. So Cody's going to come rain on everybody's parade. And he's like, I've met David for 15 minutes, but he mostly talked to Robyn. I have two working theories as to why that is. Number one, Cody was angry and refused to speak to David and wanted to just make a situation about him because I've been hearing scuttlebutt that where they first met was Gwen's engagement party, and that wouldn't be about Cody, so how can we make it about Cody, right? Can't say if that's it for sure or not. Or B, Robyn stepped in and refused to let Cody speak to David because she was worried he was going to say something that got them canceled. So he's like, Robyn thinks David's very sweet. But he does go on to say that Christine has chosen him, so he thinks it's a good match, which I think Cody is actually using in a backhanded way. This is 100% my opinion. I think that Cody's trying to say, well, look, Christine chose him and she chose me and she wasn't very good to me. So that's what I feel like he thinks he's saying. What he doesn't realize is what he's actually saying is Christine chose me and I suck. So like you're not saying anything. I mean, I guess you're saying something bad about Christine's judgment in a way, but you're also just pointing out that you suck. He says, as he says, he thinks it's a good match. He is literally shaking his head no. If you watched this and didn't pay attention to that detail, obviously this is not very far into the episode. Go back. Sorry, I'll cough away from the microphone. Go back and watch because as Cody says, I think it's a good match. He is shaking his head no as he's saying nice things about her. And so Suki's like, do you remember that lunch that you and Christine had? And he's like, oh yeah, the one where I said I thought she'd drive a truck over me if she had a chance. Really? Anyway, so he's like, she was laughing hysterically and cynically. She was? Because you haven't seen the confessionals, to my knowledge, sir. And at that lunch, she laughed about one thing. One thing she actually laughed about. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. So he's like going on about how she's laughing hysterically and she's so mean. And like, unless they took out something super unhinged out of this clip that they are literally about to show us, I don't know. So they show it to us, and the entire time Cody's just making commentary about how much Christine sucks and how mean she is. When they had that line about, you're mean that way, and Cody winks, Cody chuckles to himself, and you can just tell on his face that he thinks he is the smartest person in the room, and he knows everything, and we're just stupid peons watching this universe that he's created for himself. And it is at this point where I'm like, get this man off this show. Did I mention that I hated every single bit of Cody being in this episode yet? Have I mentioned that? Because if it's not clear yet, I hated every single moment of Cody being in this episode. Actually, I really hate every single moment of Cody being on this show. But in the beginning, there was nothing I could do about that. But I found his behavior so appalling. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I literally, at one point, started bawling watching this episode. Because the way that he spoke and the vitriol and the anger and the way that he was so aggressive to Suki made me actually like have a visceral crying reaction to his behavior. It was beyond what I've ever experienced in my life. Conversely, David also made me cry, but from sweetness, not from sadness or scared. So then Christine's like, so sometimes you still hate me. That's okay. And Cody turns to Suki and he's like, I think she likes that. She might. Or she might just be unwilling to let you continue to feed off of her anger, fear, and hurt. And so she's not going to show you that side of herself anymore. He's not as special as he thinks he is. Of course, he has to react to how smart he is every single time. But as soon as he hears Christine say that she doesn't really think about it, he clams up. He's back to faking stoicism. And he does this thing where he puts his hand like this. Every time. It's either up above the lip or right on them. But he always, this is his motion for, I don't like what I'm hearing. Which is similar to Robyn's teeth sucking thing she does when she doesn't want Cody to talk anymore. You all know what I'm talking about. But the most reaction we could get out of him really was the heavy sigh. When Christine points out that staying with only one wife was actually what blew up his big picture. You can't stay at one person's house and have a big picture. And he has got his shoulder turned and he's making that and he goes, and you can see the shoulder come up and go back down. That's it. That is everything. When Christine speaks, that's really all the reaction that he gives. So then Suki wants to talk about using the word hate. And Cody says it was an uncomfortable life with Christine in Vegas, and even worse in Flagstaff. And so when she decides she's just going to leave, he's like, I never wanted that. So what did you want? Because last week you were super proud to tell us how you had told the wives all of them should just leave. They should all just go. You were so proud to tell us that. Don't you pull that curtain down. You were so proud to tell us that. She is such a Sour Patch Kid today. It was in the recap to this episode. I am so thrown off by her because she is over there trying to... I'd turn this and show you, but I'm very afraid that if I do, she's going to freak out. Okay. And he's like, so we suffered all these years together and you're just going to quit. Yes, because sunk cost fallacy is a fallacy. You don't continue to sink time, effort, and resources into something that is a failure. You get out with what you've got and go. Oh my gosh. I hate the idea of sunk cost fallacy. It's the worst thing. Anyway. So he says the one thing that bothers him is how she laughs. Okay? And mocks his suffering. Okay? I don't, mocks what suffering, because specifically in that clip, the part where she laughed was when you were talking about having COVID. And what she laughed about was Gwen's views on what you were like when you had COVID. She laughed at that specific thing. So if you're laughing because she wouldn't sit there wallowing with you about your COVID, that's a you problem. Sir, you have been going on and on and on about this COVID diagnosis when you sat there and showed the whole world a thermometer that didn't even register a temperature that modern doctors would consider a fever. Do I know what went on beyond that? No, but everything you showed us, you do not need to be putting this level of stress and pain on everyone around you because of it. Heck, I had COVID. I laugh about it. It was the worst. I hated it. I had a fever. I never lost my sense of taste or smell. I just had a really nasty fever. It sucked. I don't want to do it again. But I'm not going to sit here and make everybody feel sorry for me. Feel bad for me. I had a fever, guys. I had a fever. If I don't see down in the comments that you want to sit here and wallow in that place with me because I had a fever a year and a half ago when I had COVID, come on. We are, I don't know how many videos in. Y'all should know me better than that by now. And if you're new here, please, we are not wallowing. We're not doing that. We're not sitting in this place. Anyway, that was a long tangent to say, shut up, Cody. Then he's going on about Christine's a mean girl. And I'm telling you now, if this were an adaptation of the movie Mean Girls, everybody'd be sitting in the bleachers and somebody'd be like, when was the last time you felt personally, or have you ever felt personally attacked by Cody Brown? And it would be literally everybody like this. And we'd have to, I don't know, I guess Robyn would be the girl who doesn't even go here because she voted herself off the island. I don't know. Anyway, so he's like, Suki's like, she's happy. And he's like, she's not happy. She's mean. Sir, back up. Put some distance between you and the good woman. Jeez. So he's like, I know her. There's a difference. She's just mocking my pain and suffering. And once again, the only thing that she laughed about in that moment was the COVID. Ugh. So I don't understand why he can't just be happy with Robyn. Unless he isn't actually happy with her. Because he says their breakup has destroyed all of his dreams and she's riding off into the sunset in a happier life. I don't know. I don't know what your dreams were, dude. Find new ones. Okay? That's what the rest of us have to do. Find new ones. So Christine comes in to tell us that she's always loved the Disney villains more than the princesses, which is... okay. Weird. But in that moment, she felt like she was having her Cruella moment. And I only know Cruella from, the original animated Dalmatians movies. And that would be, Cruella's laughter is pretty unhinged. And then she's laughing in kind of an unhinged fashion in that confessional. Okay, I'll give her that one. I will give her that in the confessional. But to his face, I don't think it was very Cruella. Anyway. So Christine points out that she was done hiding who she was. She was done hiding how she felt. She was done just being the person Cody always kind of forced her into the box to be. She was like, I was never allowed to be myself with Cody. I always had to be the happy one, the positive one, the funny one, the bubbly one, the homemaker one. And I don't want to give him that anymore. I'm not going to swallow my feelings and be the Christine that he made anymore. Don't. If he wants to remake a wife, he can remake a different one. So Suki wants to know if Cody blames Christine for destroying his big picture. And remember, 4 seconds ago in this video, I just told you that he said that she blew up all his dreams, right? And he says, no. No, it's all my fault. For marrying a woman I didn't love. Okay, so yes, you do. Got it. Because that's not accountability. I almost pulled this straight off of here. That's not accountability. That's being a child and being like, it's my fault, but it's only because you suck so much. Cody's like, it's the truth, and she knows it. And he said, I had every devotion I could for her, and still the lack of love was prevailing for them. And it would be. Yes. He's like, our marriage never really worked. Right. So he makes the mistake of asking Christine if she thinks that Robyn ever wants to live the plural life. And Christine's like, and she is trying to avoid it. And Suki's like, we've sat here for a really long time, for years now. And Christine's like, you know what? You're right. It all just needs to come out in the wash. No, I don't think so. That's pretty much all she feels about it. No, I don't think so. So she poses the question. So she poses to Cody that Christine had said that Robyn didn't want to live plural marriage. And again, he explodes on Suki. So he's like, Christine doesn't know Robyn. Newsflash, you don't know Christine. So then he's like, she was a crap sister wife, which is not the word that he used, but we're not doing that today. And that somehow being a garbage sister wife will make her a good wife to David, implying in this backbitey, rude, condescending, narcissistic, jackal sort of way that David somehow deserves or will only have a good life with a crappy wife. I mean, does he realize that's what he's saying? He's basically saying, well, this is kind of what David deserves, or what David will only be good with is somebody who's a garbage wife. So let me hand you my table scraps, and then you can go off and ride off into the sunset with her. Because that's what it feels like he's saying, in my opinion. And then Cody's like, there was 1,000 reasons Christine was no good for polygamy. Or maybe, Cody, polygamy isn't a default setting. And just maybe women aren't wired to want to share their husband, like you said on Radio Free Mormon. Just saying, we don't all come biologically wired the way that you want us to be. Throwing that out there. I'm heated with him. Heated. So he claims that making accusations against Robyn, not an accusation, an observation, different things. Making an opinion, different things, is sour graping. I don't know where this came from. I've never heard anybody say sour graping in the Midwest. So, like, I'm guessing that must be like a over the Rockies thing, because here in Appalachia, that's not what we say. It's just not. So he's like, this is where he goes on his completely unhinged rant that he will never believe that Christine loves David, because he can't believe that Christine loves David if she continues to talk badly about Robyn. He's like, if she can't, until she stops saying nasty things about Robyn or talking about me to our children, I will never believe that she loves David. And so what it boils down to is, in Cody's mind, Christine doesn't love David, Robyn doesn't love Cody, and Cody doesn't love Robyn. Because by the mathematics of what he just said, Robyn talks all the smack she wants about her ex, so she must still be hung up on him. And Cody talks all the smack he wants about his exes, so he's hung up on them and doesn't love Robyn, and Robyn doesn't love Cody because she's still hung up on her ex, right? Because Christine's hung up on Cody, so she can't love David. Do you understand the math? Because I understand it, and it's garbage. And that is what my opinion, that is allegedly what he is saying. He is allegedly saying he doesn't love Robyn, and Robyn doesn't love him. I know that's not what he's trying to say. I know that's what he's actually saying. So don't take it out of context and run with it and be like, oh my God, some psycho YouTuber. No. In context, that's what he is making up with this mathematics. Okay. So, Christine said there was a point where she was in, I believe, her kitchen, and she was with David, and they were having just a nice time. And at that moment, she's like, oh, I get it. If what I feel for David is what Cody feels for Robyn, I wouldn't want to leave either. I wouldn't want to go to someone else's house. And she says, so go be happy. Let us go. Stop being angry so that we can all be together again. So Suki asked Janelle about taking on another sister wife, and Janelle is like, never gonna happen. And Suki's like, well, what if Robyn brought her in? And Janelle's like, no. I'm willing to bet you $1,000 and you can come find me and I will give it to you if he gets another wife. But it ain't gonna happen. Janelle's like, I'm not upset about Cody and Robyn choosing each other, and maybe someday that's what I'll want for my myself, but right now I'm pretty okay. So Suki presses Cody. Well, what if Robyn found someone and brought them in? And Cody laughs and he's like, oh, like Mary did with Robyn? Cut the crap. I am finding it harder and harder to believe the story that Mary went and found Robyn. And I will tell you, I think my opinion is that he met Robyn and then they found a sly, sneaky way to introduce her to Mary and make Mary think it was her idea. In the same way, in my opinion, the legal divorce went down, where they found a way to introduce it and make Mary think it was her idea. He claims he wouldn't do it because he'd have to tell that woman that he doesn't love her and could never love her the way he loves Robyn. And he's like, now I know better. Cut me some slack. So Suki asks Mary about her opinions on it. And Mary's like, I don't know how it would be to be the last one left standing, but if he loves Robyn so much that he's willing to give up the rest of the women, that's on him, not on her. And you know what? Fair. Fair. If he is willing to blow up his entire family for Robyn, because he could have just as easily done this in a way that was more appropriate, that made everyone feel heard and feel still connected as a family. He chose not to do that. Does Robyn bear her responsibility for whatever her part was? Yes, but Cody does bear the responsibility for that. And then here's where I'm going to take some accountability. I was culpable in almost perpetrating a sister-wives lie because I literally forgot this even happened. I said in a short, was Robyn even in this? And I don't think I was alone in feeling that way. Some of you also commented, was like, no, Robyn wasn't there, so I wasn't alone. Oh my god, she had an actual tantrum and we all forgot. It's like we Mandela affected that into a completely different episode, I swear. So now it is time for Robyn to have her finest meltdown yet. Suki asked me about being the last wife standing. And can she find happiness alone with Cody? She's like, I want to say yes out of love and respect to Cody, but it feels disrespectful. And then she has a full-on we miss nap time and I'm still hangry meltdown. Y'all know I have preschool-age twins. I'm pretty sure that I haven't even seen them, like, freak out as bad as this. Anyway, and she's like, it's so disrespectful to the wives and to the kids to be happy. It's so disrespectful to his kids. And so Suki's like, everyone just sat here and said they wanted you to be happy. And she gets disrespectful with Suki. And she's like, well, they've never said it to me. They need to say it to my face off camera. Not a chance in hell. Sorry, not a chance. If any of them ever speak to you again off camera, it will be to their own detriment. They are doing themselves a disservice because anything that comes out, you will use to write your fairy tale fantasyland description of whatever it was you think they said that didn't actually happen. And for pity's sake, it's to the point now where I'm starting to become convinced that Janelle could sneeze and you'd accuse her of war crimes. Like, I'm just saying. No, you don't get that anymore, Robyn. You don't get the courtesy of being off camera with family. Not anymore. Sorry. Nope, not gonna use that. Made your bed, lie in it. Robyn's like, my commitment to this family is not broken. I don't know how to break it. Okay, I've got an idea. Okay, so this is really easy, all right? So let's start here. So make a commitment to a family, right? And then constantly isolate yourself. Don't get involved. Don't get involved in things, okay? Don't call them. Don't try to get involved in stuff. Okay, that's what you want to do first, okay? And then second, make sure you keep them at arm's length from everyone close to you because you wouldn't go running to an ex after a breakup, would you? Come on. And then third, don't invite them to anything. But if they invite you, melt down and explode about how much everyone's actually hated you your entire life. Really helps if you can make it a family holiday or a wedding or really any event that super isn't about you. That's my best plan. So Robyn's like, I don't care if you think I'm stupid. And Suki's like, I don't think you're stupid. You're asking to have a conversation. And then she actually scoffs and she's like, with your sister wives. I was like, oh Suki's getting fed up. Dude, I didn't want to sit through 4 episodes. You didn't want to have to make 4. I understand. Suki's like, you want them to release you. And Robyn, have you done all the paperwork? Did you ask the church for a release? Did you go to whatever, like, little meetings and things that you said you had to? Because you can't be released until you've done all that, right? Isn't that what you said? That's how you get a release in your church, right? And that's really where everybody else's side of the story ends. And then it is on to Christine and David. And I wanted to give them and the whole situation with Cody that happens in the back half of the episode kind of its own thing. Number one, because it makes me really emotional, and I am not going to promise you I won't cry on here. I'm not. It actually genuinely makes me very emotional for whatever reason. The vitriol that Cody has versus the kindness that David shows just makes me like, really. And number two, the other reason I split it up is I have to go see my neurologist, and I knew I wasn't going to have time to film a long video, and I don't know what he's going to expect of me after seeing him today. So just in case I had to do any running or any additional appointments or anything, I wanted to make sure I put these in smaller chunks so that we could get videos out. I think that makes the most sense. I do believe that at the end of this week, we are getting the first... I think we're getting the talk back on Friday and the look back on Sunday, but I couldn't be 100% sure. I am going to be running ragged trying to get a video out in between the talk back and the look back airing. So one's airing on December 22nd, the other airs on December 24th. So I am going to do my very best to get that video out on the 23rd. It may not be super long, it may not be like ridiculously detailed. It's all going to just depend on what's said, what happens. I think it must be the talk back, because I think the look back is going to be the more intensive one. So we're going to try and get that taken care of. But I will get the other half to this filmed after I see a neurologist, and I will get it up as soon as possible. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down in the comments below. I may not be responding to them, but I will be sure to read them and give them hearts and interact with them. And after the first of the year, I'm going to start every video. I'm going to try to start slowly implementing it now, but every single video I'm going to find a comment that just like makes me laugh really hard or has a really good point or something that I really think the rest of us should see. Whether it's positive or negative toward me doesn't really matter, and I'll start pinning the best comments under each video so that everybody gets an opportunity to see your best thoughts, theories, and jokes, because frankly, I shouldn't be the only one getting to laugh hysterically when you guys have great thoughts. So until then, I will see you guys later. Bye!